Italian through TPR storytelling and OER, Open Education Resources in Italian. The methodology TPR, Total Physical Response by James Archer, is a method that focuses on presenting a great amount of comprehensible input to students. If you want to know more about this method, I recommend this book, Fluency Through the TPR Storytelling. To apply this method, we meet a first obstacle. Students need to read comprehensible and compelling stories in the target language, but these narratives must be available. Unfortunately, we don't have much material that is prepared to use this methodology. In my talk, I like to show a new text that is created thinking of the approach teaching with storytelling in some material that was elaborated in order to teach with that methodology. First of all, I need to give credit to Professor Andrea Petri of Miracosta College in California, who initiated the creation of material that follow this methodology. In my part, I thought that it would be very useful to use what we already have in Italian, and that means the text of the Italian literature. So let's see how TPRS work for my classes. The first things we need to look at is the material, and the material for my classes I can find and I present here in LibreText. LibreText is a platform where you can find different free textbooks. The textbooks are created by other professors of university or colleges, and they mostly work in collaboration. So in LibreText, there is a library, and you can visit the bookshelves. And if you go in the humanities part of this library, you can visit the bookshelves that are for art, composition, gender study, humanities, literature, languages, philosophy, etc., etc. See different disciplines. So for us, it's interesting to check the language, and you find different languages. So my material is not there yet because I'm still working on the in revision, but you can help me to revise it too, and I give you the code and the link in the hangout. But you can find here Camino College, and here we are. So you see, right now there are 4 chapters. They're very intense chapters with a lot of vocabulary, a lot of material. I'm planning to have the second semester, and I'm working on that, and also for the other 2 semesters that will follow. So Leggiamo is an Italian textbook directed to students with no knowledge of Italian, and it is designated for classes taught in American Community College. It was born in the context of open education resource as a free resource. And so you can already see in the title of the book, there is a language game about the Leggiamo, and the different connotation and derivation for that. But essentially, the leggere is still the root about the real meaning of leggere that come from the Greek and with the meaning of collecting or saying. So reading basically means collecting, but the term suggests a meaning that goes beyond the simple mechanical repetition of sound. In fact, the leg root is the basic of the term logos, which contains several meanings: word, speech, cause, reason. So reading can be considered as an action that involves the totality of the person who collects, and especially his ability to grasp this meaning of each text. Indeed, this is the purpose of this book, and furthermore, this book is taught as a collage, a collection of open education resources. So the book developed about an open story, and students themselves are required to elaborate the plot. The story takes place in Florence through 4 chapters module where grammatical structures are contextualized. The basic structures are being reshaped on the basis of the book French OER 1 by Carrasco, Zeadi, and Paris, and some page of Spunti, Lesawich, and Viale. But the product is a true collage of linguistic cultural elements. It's a real open book that immerses the students in the language and culture. So how to use this book? So the method. So the key technique of TPRS is asking questions. Story asking or ask a story, and then co-creating stories with students. So first things to do is working with vocabulary, because the first text must be comprehensible. How to do that? I created a vocabulary bank, but organized as a game, and Quizlet is the perfect tool to work with vocabulary. So students need to play with vocabulary using Quizlet, then read the story, then listen to the story, then is asked to ask a yes or no question, the question already written there, to answer these questions, yes or no. Then ask again 2 option questions, answer the correct option, and then ask the students to formulate 2 questions related to the story. And 2 classmates need to answer. Ask students to create their own story similar to the one that just read using the vocabulary provided in Quizlet or used in the story. And then read or perform the story. So they have to make a similar story of what they actually just read. So here we can find an example using my book. So I show you only this, but I can show you more if you like it. So just to start, so you see we have the game with the vocabulary using Quizlet. So we can go with different type of game, but just use the flashcard so to perceive the sound of each word, like ragazza, and then you can listen.
Ragazza.
And then you go on with
Sono. Museo, il.
So students can first listen to the words and see the meaning. Then they can, I don't know, write a spell, a test, write a match. Okay, so a match is kind of fun because they need to match the meaning with the word. Okay, my name is so like that. See, old, young. Okay, so They might spend 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to work with vocabulary first. Then they need to read aloud the text, and then silently read and listen. So the text is this one. You see there is a English translation nearby. This is because the text must be comprehensible, and so the students can really understand what's going on and what is about. So eventually compare and understand. Siamo a Firenze, una bella città in Italia, un ragazzo incontra una ragazza, sono in un museo, il museo dell'Accademia, sono davanti alla statua di Davide, il ragazzo si chiama Michelangelo, la ragazza si chiama Artemisia, Michelangelo è giovane, alto, bello, muscoloso, Artemisia è giovane, bella, non è magra. E Michelangelo, buongiorno, mi chiamo Michelangelo, come ti chiami? Artemisia. Ciao, mi chiamo Artemisia, come stai? Michelangelo, sto bene. Tu, Artemisia, sto bene, grazie. And then the same type of dialogues formally when we have two new characters that are Oprah Winfrey and Sergio Mattarella. So here the the exercise with the questions. So Firenze è una città. So the student needs to answer yes or no. So yes, yes, sì. Firenze è una bella città, sì. Un ragazzo incontra una ragazza, sì. Un ragazzo incontra una ragazza al Museo degli Uffizi, no. And then here the other questions. Firenze è una città, una ragazza. Firenze è una bella città, una brutta città. Il ragazzo incontra una ragazza o un ragazzo, eccetera. So after that, the students needs to create a similar test and read it aloud or perform with a classmate. So this same text is available to the students in another format, and the students can also open on his phone or her phone. And the advantage of this, okay, so all these pages are linked, so connect directly to the pages that want to be studied. There are audio files incorporated. I can add more audio files incorporated. There are also, media that they can watch through a phone, just making a picture to the barcode, or just clicking on the image. Again, in the book, so the content of the story that involved some people in Florence. There are some tourists in some way, and these people will tell all their story that contextualize the vocabulary. So in first chapter we have the story that is the poem of Lorenzo de' Medici, Il trionfo di Bacco e Arianna. In second chapter, with the contextualization with the family, we are introducing the Principe of Machiavelli, related to some artistic piece in Florence, especially the Cappelle Medicee. And chapter number 3, Boccaccio is introduced, but it's just all one of the novel. And then in chapter number 4 we have Le Vita del Vasari, talking pretty much all about Michelangelo here and there, but so Michelangelo life that as Vasari is telling, but we will not read the original, but there will be some pieces of the original, but told in the story. So the beauty of this is we really contextualize some author into the context of the artistic production in Florence. And the main idea is this one. Students decide to take Italian because they want to know more about Italian art or some idea they have in their mind. So if we teach what they expect to be taught, so their attention mm, they will remain, and they probably absorb also more information about other parts of the language. While if we just teach the language for the language, it's so easy to lose students. So I see that this class is having a great success because students are very motivated to learn and they're very interested to learn these type of topics. Another example of books like this is Promessi Sposi. You can find also this in as a flip book, and I give you the code. You can find it. Um, and then you can see how we insert this in our learning management platform that is Canvas. So I use this as a discussion, so the class can discuss and can read and can comment what the other students are saying. But so that is introduced by a video that is use a comic the Promessi Sposi. It's not very easy to understand, but the picture really helped the students to visualize the story. Again, there is a game before a vocabulary game before reading. Then they watch and then they read, and then they discuss. And so you can see I have a class discussion that is going on. There are some audio. There are different um, different observation, and then again it's interesting because the students are replying to each other and then they are continuing the conversation. So again, LibreText can be integrated in Canvas, um, like it is and organized, and I show the French textbook like it is. So you see, you can have all the chapter organized, so do the activity. And so what the students thinks, so it's very positive feedbacks from them. They like the fact that they can discover the real culture, the vocabulary games, the fact that they practice a lot the language, and they actually can work with the language because they're reading, they are answering questions, and then they're producing their own text. And so they say also that it's great to learn different perspectives, so the communication you really flow in this type of classes. So what it is next? So next it is keep working on creating more material. Again, my colleagues already prepare a lot of materials using this methodology. You can find here this website is offering this as open education uh, resource. And, and so if you click on Italian one, you can find some text of Italian one for Italian one, and you can use it for your classes. Um, see, is explain how to do it, and then the keywords, and then after that there is the story that is uh, is said and also read. You can also listen. And after that, there are different activities similar to the activity I was showing you before. Again, my material is more based on context. So is immersed like in the context of Florence with different stories that can happen in Florence that involve different cultural elements in Florence, but I expand also to the other parts of Italy. So I'm using more the literature differently from my colleague because I think that the students would like to know more the cultural facts that are inside the Italian literature. And uh, this is it. So if you have any question, I'm here to answer.